Hi there, my name is Mark Wilkinson. I am the co-founder of Highrise Digital. I'm a WordPress developer and also a product owner. And I'm here tonight to talk about our move from projects to using and building products in WordPress. I hope you enjoy the talk. Hello, everybody. So I'm going to talk to you about from projects to products, something that we have been through in the last 18 months or so. Well, a bit longer actually, but kind of picked up pace in that sort of time scale. So I'm going to start off by showing you a graph. These days, kind of that this is what we do. This shows the monthly recurring revenue of one of our products. So as you can see, we started our product in 2020, which was a great time to start a product, as you can tell, because of COVID. And it took quite a while to get some traction. But as you can see from the graph, it's kind of been a steady growth until recently, as you can see from the top. So it's been doing quite well. Our current monthly recurring revenue from that product alone is approximately £15,000, just under. So it's been going well. And it's probably important to say that our marketing spend on that has been zero. So we haven't actually spent any money on marketing this product. Now, there's a few reasons why that's worked, which we can talk about, and it might not work for every product, obviously. So that's kind of some background about what we're talking about. There we go. So to start this story, I want to take you back to probably, I think it was 2019. And in one of the many video calls that I had with my colleague Keith, who sat at the front here, in our sort of, how can we grow this business chats and get this working better? We saw this graph. Now, I've took some of the details off it to just make it more important, but it was a snapshot of the analytics from the Highrise Digital website, which is our website agency. And it shows one particular page on the site at the top there that was ridiculously doing well compared to everything else on the site. And it wasn't the home page, which was weird. It was a different page. It was actually a blog post. It was quite a random blog post that we wrote off the cuff. Didn't even write it in a way to try and get anyone reading it. And it suddenly started to rank quite well for a specific term. It was this blog post. We wrote a post on a guide to how you might write yourself a website specification document. So you might deliver that to us as an agency. This is what I want to build. And we wrote that. It didn't take long, an hour maybe, pulling in the knowledge that we'd gained from working with customers. So it started to rank. It ranked for various terms, website specification, how to write a website specification, etc. And it was the top of Google for a long time. It might actually still be, I'm not actually sure. It's probably still up there, it's not right at the top. So in one of those meetings that we had, we sort of thought, what can we do with that content? Because it doesn't do anything really. People read it, great, it gets them to our website, but actually that might not be customers of ours. So what can we actually do with that content? How can we monetize it and make something from it? So it had an audience, and that we always found that's the hard part. How do you get yourself an audience for something? Well, we already had an audience, so how could we do something with that audience to make it into a bit of money? So what Keith, my colleague, did is said, well, why don't we just make some downloadable templates that people can download? So when they're on that, they've read all about the content, they think, oh yeah, this makes sense. Let's just download a Word document, PDF document, we can fill it in and then send it off to our agencies. And that's exactly what we did. It took about 2 hours to build that, put it up there. I think we already had a store at the time, but you could stick it on one of the other platforms that are available. I think we made it 15 quid, and then we tried like a put your own price in type thing. We tried like different models, like if you're a student or an agency or whatever. People weirdly paid the high price for it. I don't know why, but some people did. And it kind of started to do quite well. And it kind of changed our business ideas about how we can sort of build things to make money. that's its total revenue to date for like 2 hours work. So it's made nearly 8,000 quid. And it still makes money today. We do absolutely nothing with it, and people still buy it. God knows why, it's so old, but they still buy it. They don't complain when they buy it, which is amazing. So it works out round about 2.5 grand an hour for 2 hours work. And it just got us thinking about products and what can we do to change this business slightly, rather than building projects for people. They come to you with a proposal, and you go through the dance about what you have to do about that and come up with a price. So that's kind of the start of the story of how we started to think about building products. So we're Highrise Digital. We were started in 2016 as I think I'm still allowed to say WordPress development agency. I think. A development agency that builds websites using WordPress. Maybe that's the best way to say it. And we built websites for all sorts of clients in all sorts of different niches and no real specialties. And we were relatively successful. So that's kind of like the background of where we are. I'm more of a back-end developer, and my colleague Keith's more the front end and the design and sort of thing. So we work quite well together and so forth. That was good. And actually it's interesting because it's actually 10 years almost to the day that I stood here and spoke at WordPress London and met Keith. So that's how Highrise started. So it's quite straight. We thought that today in the cafe when we were having a brew. It was an interesting thing. It was actually, I think it was the 18th of September. So it's like 6-7 days away, isn't it? So. There are just the two of us in the company. We have tried with a few people and grown and shrunk, and we've settled on the two of us. So there's just two of us sort of powering this company and these products. So on to the product itself that I'm going to talk about and what we've done. Now, back in 2013, I was a freelancer, and I was asked by a recruitment agency to integrate one of the services they use into their WordPress website. Now, if you are a recruitment agency or a recruiter, you probably use an ATS, an applicant tracking system, or some sort of CRM, which is integrated with one, to post out your jobs to multiple destinations. So you log into this service, you write your job advert, and then you use that service to distribute that to multiple different job boards. CV Library, Indeed, LinkedIn, etc., etc. And what they wanted to do was enable it so that they could also post it to their WordPress site at the same time. So I was tasked with doing that, and I wrote a project specification, I came up with a price, and I delivered that so that they integrated that into their WordPress site. I then decided to write a blog post about how I did it, which is a very good idea, by the way, if you've ever done something. Write a blog post about it, people will find it, and they'll probably contact you and ask you to do it for them. So that's a little tip that I picked up along the way. And the blog post did well, and we started getting people to ask us to do this, and this carried on when we formed Highrise Digital, and we did a lot of bespoke integration work, building things for people to integrate with these services. And off the back of that, we kind of built this plugin, which was, Broadbean is one of the services that does this, by the way. It kind of simplified the integration process. So I found all of these bespoke integrations I was doing, 95% of them were exactly the same piece of work. They were just little things that were tweaked to change it for different clients. So I thought, well, how can I simplify this? I made this plugin that allowed me to do all the bulk of the heavy lifting and then make some changes and tweaks for various clients. And it was relatively successful. It's not had massive active installations, as you can see, but it did the job. People use it. People still use it today and contact us about it for doing it for various different things. But it was fundamentally flawed. And the reason for that, it was because it provided a very basic job board on your WordPress site. And people didn't want that. They already had the job board on their website, and they wanted to integrate with that, or a lot did anyway. So it had a bit of a problem in that sense. So we got our thinking caps on. How can we make this more appropriate for all WordPress users running a job board that are using these distribution services? And that's where we came up with JobRelay, which is our product. I believe we've got some users of that in the room as well, so I hope it's working all right for you. And this product was a way for whatever you're running in WordPress, whatever job board you're using, the data arrives in WordPress, we can save it in whatever system you're using, and then you can present it in whatever way you want. So instead of, I'll just flip back to that screen. So that was the way it worked before. So we made the website, the integration part here, so the ATS could send data to the website. The way we changed that with JobRelay is that JobRelay became one of these job boards. So these providers sent the data to us. We could then format that in the correct way, send it onto the WordPress site, and that they could save the data and use it in whatever job board system they were using. This is not really a technical talk, so I'm not going to go into how it does this. Essentially, most sites have a custom post type for jobs, and we save a new post in that post type, and we save data against that post, either as metadata or as taxonomy terms, etc. It's relatively straightforward in that sense, and it doesn't matter what you're using as long as you're using a custom post type. It would actually work if you're not, but it will be a bit more complicated. And you know, to date, it's been a really successful product for us, and something I'm quite proud of. Customers pay a subscription, so they pay either a monthly or an annual subscription to post to the JobRelay job board from these systems. And if they continue to obviously pay a subscription, they get access to use that and send it onto their WordPress site. So that's what we've built, what we've got. Why is it a good thing maybe to work with products? I'm not saying it's going to be everyone's cup of tea, but it's certainly something that we've enjoyed the journey of. So the first reason is we've often sat there and thought when we're building projects, in 10 years' time when we want to finish this, what are we going to actually have that is sellable or is going to be an asset that we can use to sell or get rid of the company? And this gives us that. It is something, we have a number of customers. I think we've got 360 odd subscribers that are subscribing to the product. So there's a customer base, there's a product that does something that's got some value that we could sell. So that's something that's good, maybe as we want to get out of this eventually. It gives a monthly recurring revenue. And if you've ever been an agency, or particularly a freelancer with building projects, where's the next project coming from? Where am I going to get the next money to pay the bills from? This kind of smooths out that curve nicely. You're getting that monthly recurring revenue. And again, it depends what products you've got as to what sort of that monthly recurring revenue will be and how many customers you'd need. But it takes the pressure off, definitely, in terms of giving us that little bit of a safety net. And it also means that we've got more flexibility to make decisions about things in the business. We don't have to do something quickly because we need the next project in to pay the bills. It gives us a bit more flexibility to try things out and try new things, like the block editor, for example, and full site editing and other things. So it's subscription-based. This can be quite controversial in the WordPress space. If you don't pay your subscription, you can't use JobRelay. It won't work anymore. It's not like other plugins where you buy the plugin and actually the code still runs on your site if you're not paying for it. So this isn't that sort of thing. The plugin itself is GPL. It runs on your website. You can see all the code on it, but the delivery of jobs goes through the JobRelay service. So that's how it works. It won't kind of work if you don't renew, which was good for us. It keeps it moving. We've got rid of this scoping headache that we call it. So the project comes in and the back and forward with clients about having to work out what they want and what functionality they want on it, what do they want with the brief. We always find that extremely difficult. Quoting for jobs, it takes so long. You win some, you lose some. You don't have that with a product. Your product does what it does. Our product is very simple. It does what it does. Yeah, there are things around it. You can tweak things and so on, but essentially it delivers what it delivers, and you get rid of that scoping. Can we do this? Can we do that? Or can we change this? Can we change that? Well, we'll have to quote for it. We'll have to redo the project specification. It gets rid of all that, which we find really difficult in project work. And in products, it's not quite as difficult. And lastly, you have complete control over the development direction. So with a client, they can ask you to do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, F, and G. You might not like it, you might not know how to do it, then you've got back to the scoping problem that we just talked about. Whereas with your own product, you can control the development direction you want to go in with that product. Now, obviously, you're going to take feedback from your customers. They're going to ask you things, they're going to request things, and you're going to think about those. But ultimately, it's your decision. You can decide where that product goes, so you're in complete control of that decision and where you take it, which is quite a nice place to be. But it's not all rosy. So there are things that change when you don't do projects. I say don't do projects. We do still do projects, not as many of them. Instead of doing 10 a year, we might be doing 2 a year or 1 a year. The big thing you miss is those face-to-face relationships. I very rarely speak through a video call or so forth with our clients. It's all done online. They purchase the product and we install it and set it up. So you don't talk to clients like you do when the project. That's really nice. Before we came here today, we actually met one of our clients in London that we've worked for 4 years and never seen them in person. And that's nice to do. You don't get that as much with a product as you would with projects and doing project and development work. So if you're that sort of person that likes that, then it might not be something that you would enjoy as much. You don't get a fresh start with every project. So you've got this thing that is being used by everybody. So if you have a great idea that you want to change something, you've got 360 people using it, so you can't just break it, which is quite scary sometimes. And sometimes the direction you want to take it, it's harder to do that because you can't just make that change and start from afresh like you do with projects. The next website you build, it's a fresh project. You can do whatever you want with it. You don't have to worry about the last project you built and breaking stuff. So that's quite difficult to get your head to change. If we do this, is it going to break this? Are these other customers going to get annoyed, etc.? So you've constantly got to think about the past. A bit like WordPress core, I guess. So they're constantly worried about not breaking things, and you're in that sort of same position. So it can be tricky. Obviously, there are ways to make progress and move forward. It's just harder to do that and upgrading people, etc. You lose a bit of creativity, I think, as well. Particularly something Keith mentions a lot. You lose the creativity side of building websites where you're getting a bit creative and new challenges, and people come to you with a task that they want to achieve that you've never done before, and it's nice to get stuck into finding solutions for them. You lose that a little bit when you're doing projects because your product does what it does. That's something to think about as well. But overall, I think for us it's been positive, but certainly things to think about if you're thinking about what products might be suitable for you. There's a big change in roles. So my role has changed massively since we launched this product. I mainly deal with JobRelay. We've got other products that my colleague does and so on, but I mainly deal with JobRelay. A lot of my time is support. So support emails, dealing with support, clients that have problems and need to fix things. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis. So again, if that's not you and you don't want to be answering support emails, then products is probably a difficult one. Or you need to be able to get someone else to do that, obviously. We've chosen just to keep the two of us in the company. We don't have a support side of the business. It's just all done by us. But it can be difficult. And it can be hard to learn as well. Support is a difficult thing to do. You've got someone on the end of an email where something's not working and it's difficult to get the communication right. You've got to learn how to do that, which is tricky. It's definitely a skill that you need to learn. Again, you're going to need to do sales. As I said, this product is particularly successful in its marketing, partly because it's done by our partners who we're integrated with. They obviously market it for us and sell it to their customers to integrate with their websites. It also organically ranks on Google. We didn't really need to do anything about that, so that was very successful. But we still need to sell it. We still need to get on calls. We still need to sell it to our customers that get in touch with us. So you become very much a salesperson as well. So the bit you've come for, the bit you're leaning forward in your chair, what's the success? How do we make this work? So what are the secrets to success? what would I say is the thing that makes products a success if you are going to take them on? And unfortunately, the first one is just luck. Like, there's just a massive amount of luck. And I think this for any product or service or business, there's a huge amount of luck. You'll listen to podcasts and you'll read books that tell you all about business this and business that, but I do think a lot of it is luck. Having said that, you've got to test the water. You've got to take the shots until one of them lands. You've got to try things till one of them lands. And when it lands, when that luck lands on your lap, you have to be in a position to take advantage of it. You know, so if you're not in that position, you know that luck won't pay off for you. So we've tried loads of things. We've tried a product called Simple Social Images, which generated social sharing images for you. Great product, so we thought, something our customers wanted. Absolute flop, didn't work at all. So you know the luck wasn't there. We tried recruitment websites, building recruitment websites, a product around that. Again, didn't really work well. We still do some recruitment websites, but not on the scale that we wanted to. So you need a bit of luck to make it fit in. Our luck was partly that it was already marketed for us. You know, we didn't need to do it because that's what we're not very good at, really. So it was a good job that was done for us. So yeah, you need a bit of luck. I think you need to build a business buffer. So if you're thinking about building a product, it's good to have some money in the bank to fall back on, because you need to stop doing what you're doing for a while to be able to take the chance at this product. So, you know, having some money in the business gives you that sort of time to make those decisions and investigate the product that you might want to do. So that's something I'd highly recommend. You need to launch. Now this sounds stupid, but a product is never ready. Like, it's never ready. When you're building it, it's never ready. You always think that it's not going to be ready for customers. But having built this product, the earlier you can launch it, the better. You need to get it in the hands of customers using it, even when it's not perfect. It will never be perfect. So, you know, get it in the hands of people that are using it. And not just the product, you know. The JobRelay website, if you go to it, jobrelay.io, it's very basic still. Like, every day we say, oh, it could be so much better, you know. But it does the job. So, you know, you need to launch, you need to get it out there. The first version of our plugin was super basic. It did the job, but it was super basic. It didn't have all the features that it does now. But having it in the hands of people, using it, giving us feedback, iterating on it, you know, you need to get it out there as fast as possible. So launching it quickly is important. And a good product should probably do these things. And this is not a fast rule. There's probably products that don't do these things, but it should probably solve a painful, preferably expensive problem. If you've got something that you do that does that, you might have a product in it, if you can turn it into a product. It's probably better if it's in a specific niche, because you can target it to specific people easier. So in many ways, JobRelay is a data transfer mechanism from something to WordPress. If I'd have said that's what it was, it wouldn't sell. So if you put it in a niche, it makes it much easier to sell. So, you know, those are some things that you might have, your product should probably do. Pricing is difficult and something that you need to get right. My advice would be value price it. What is it worth to people that are using it? And make it as expensive as possible. But, there is a key but. You can always go up in price. It's much harder to come down in price, okay? So my advice would be start lower to start with, gain some customers, get some feedback, get people using your product, and then you can increase the price, you know, what's fair to your customers as you go through. It's not nice for initial paying customers to be paying more or paid more than what you then want to sell the product for. But, you know, pricing is something to think about, how much it's going to be. What's the market? What are other products that are like this worth? What problem does it solve? And how much would that cost someone if they weren't using your product? So for us, it was, we were doing all this bespoke before, And now there's an off-the-shelf solution that can do it. So it was much cheaper than the bespoke option, but it was still something that was a no-brainer for people to use. And then to finish on, if you sat there thinking, you know, this sounds quite good, I'd like to come up with something that I can build, what product is for you? So the first thing I would say is the same as us. Have you got some content? Look at your analytics. Have you got some content on your website that ranks particularly well and gets eyeballs on it? And if you have, is there something that you could do with that content? Now, for us, it was a download. It might be that a particular service page on your website ranks really well. Is there something you could put on, like, book a call with me for 50 quid? I don't know. Something like that you could take advantage of. But is there some content that particularly ranks, that has an audience already, that you could take advantage of and use? What do you do for your clients that you do over and over and over, and it tends to be very similar, but is perhaps difficult for them? Can you turn that into a product that they could all use, that you could sell to others, make it flexible, etc.? That's another option that you could look at doing. And then the final one is, do you use another product that you could build an extension for, that you make advantage of? WooCommerce is a great example. There's the core product. There's loads of extensions for that. Is there something like that you could build, that you do for your clients, and you could turn it into an extension for another product? The reason why other products are helpful is because they often help you market it, because people are looking inside their ecosystem and so on for those products. For us, our applicant tracking partners, they help us sell our product, because if they have a customer that comes to them that wants to integrate with WordPress, thankfully they recommend our product because it's easy to install, easy to do, etc. And they don't know WordPress, we do, so we can handle that part of it. So that helps us out. So that's it. I'm Mark from Highrise Digital. Our product is called JobRelay. We also have a product called RecPress. You can find me at WPMark on various different places, so go and have a look and follow me. We also have a little podcast you might be interested in listening to Friday afternoon called WP Cafe on YouTube, where we chat about this stuff, really, like our business and what's going well and what isn't going well, and learning stuff and so forth. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, you can have a tune into that and watch. We also have a new product called RecPress, which is a job board product for WordPress. So if you need a job board on your website, you can check that out. And I'll just leave you with this. Like, if I can do this and build a successful product, then you can as well, because, I'm just me. So believe in it. If you want to have a go with it, do it. You can do it. Trust me. Questions?